they started out after the Civil War, and because there was no real education set up for black people in America, and these HBCUs were founded by different church groups and others because they felt that if black people are going to be a central part of America and work on their citizenship and everything else and do what they're supposed to do, they have to be educated.
Right.
How are you going to do anything and you're not educated? And I think that's what sparked all of this after the Civil War, for the most part. And many of these HBCUs were founded during that time. They were initially founded through church groups and others, the Methodist Church, all kinds of church groups were founded in HBCUs, and they were because they felt that black people need to be educated, and just like everybody else. I mean, if you're going to be a real contributor to our country and to our way of life, how can you contribute something and you can't read what's on a piece of paper?
Exactly.
You got to be able to read and write and understand the dynamics of what we need, what your family needs, what your community needs, your church needs. And you can't do that without some measure of education. And they realized that early on. Thank God that they did. And as a result, these HBCUs were founded, and many of them are still around, and most of them are still around, and they're thriving.
That's right.
But they need more and more help to not only thrive, but to make the kind of contribution that's necessary for them to do the work that they have to do for America, not just for black people, but for all people.
That's right.
And so they are a central part of what we're all about as a country.
That's right.
Because before these HBCUs, black people didn't have a chance. I mean, no education. I mean, there were a few now and then who would be sent up to Harvard or one of those other schools, but generally speaking, there was no education for black people. And so now what we have seen is sort of a revolution that has taken place in our country, a good revolution, an extensive revolution, and it's still taking place. Right. And it still needs to be expanded because there's still so many young people, particularly in the black community, who are still not going to institutions of higher education, who are still not doing what they need to be doing. And so our group and what we're doing, not only for cancer, but what this does for people across the board is let people know that here we have a responsibility and we have a journey here that we need to ride this thing out. We need to work together, not just leave it all to the government to do, because the government can't do it all. Right. We have to be involved.
That's right.
And so I thank God for the Bob Ingrams of the world and for you and others like you and all the work that you continue to do and what you've done. It's not only important, it's essential to our society that we keep this work going. It's not just a feel-good deal. We're not here just to feel good and to make us happy and to make us think that we're doing something. We are doing something. We're doing a lot. But more needs to be done. And that's what we're concentrating on here. And I hope that what we're doing will sort of give some impetus and give rise to others to do the same thing and maybe even try to outshine us, whatever we're doing.
Amen.
Do more.